Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk News. I'm Leticia Remauro, and I'm your host. And thank you for joining me. Um, Interesting stuff going on today. Interesting. But today we're going to talk a little bit about California and the Prop 50, um, because I think it's really important that we do discuss this at some point. Hello, Colleen. Good to have you. Hello, Francine. Thanks for joining us again. Um, you know, just an FYI. So last night, I was astounded at the reduced viewership that we had. I couldn't understand what was going on. And even after the show, I put up shorts to lead people to the show. And usually those shorts get a couple thousand views. Each resource gets a couple hundred views. And by the end of the week, we get a couple thousand views on the show. Well, last night we had 2 viewers from YouTube, and the average viewership for the show was about 20 across all boards, and I got 3 views off of the YouTube short. So why am I telling you this? Well, because Neville Roy Singham seems to have a spider, a crawler, whatever you want to call it, out with his name on the web, and seems to retard the ability for anything using his name to reach a lot of people. I went on today to look at some of the past things that, as I said yesterday, some of the links didn't work anymore. So he's been scrubbing the web. But even held interviews, YouTube news reports discussing his name, not a lot of views at all. So I think that's interesting. So I'm mentioning his name, but I'm not going to type it anywhere. Neville Roy Singham and his wife. Hello, Susan Durema. Hello, Angela Ricca. And hello, Mama. So, any rate, hopefully today, hopefully this retardation of outreach is not going to carry over to today. Because you upset the apple cart by exposing truth. Yeah, well, that's how we keep getting canceled, right? I'm chugging along. We're doing great. I mean, look, we're not by any means, Bongino or any of those. But a couple thousand views are okay. But as soon as we start talking about the truth and doing the deep dives, that's usually when I lose my channel. So hopefully it won't be this way, but you never know. So anyway, today the California State Legislature approved billions of dollars in spending for illegal migrants to keep them safe and sound in California, to feed them, to house them, to give them health care, to take care of their kids, to send them to school. And, you might say, California, they're a sanctuary city. And so, they're taking care. Yeah, that would all be fine and well and good, except for their $12 billion in debt. And they still haven't given permits or provided assistance to those who lost their homes in the fires. So much for eliminating algorithms. Yes, exactly. I mean, it's just interesting how they can set up these bugs all over the internet to crawl for their names and to reduce exposure, and how they can hype up the algorithm to expose more the things that they want people to see, their messaging, like, his positive China messaging. Hello, Debbie Lebedo. Good. Send them all to Cali. Yeah, that would be good, right? Well, a lot of them are in Cali, but ultimately, we're finding the problem with having them all in Cali is California gives a driver's license with nothing. You can have an incomplete form. You can have no birth certificate, no social security card, no any of that stuff to get your driver's license. They'll give it to you, and then they'll come follow up with you later to get the information, which they never do, except it would create congressional seats. Exactly. Hello, Kevin Young. Good to have you there. Yeah, see the algorithm tonight? It's back to normal. Give them a one-way ticket to California. Well, Bobby keeps saying that California should just fall off it into the ocean. He would be happy and nobody would mind. Hello, Lucille Chavon. But you got to remember something. California is a huge, big state, and there's a lot of Republicans in California. But they have been gerrymandering districts for so long, like New York, that you would never know that 40% of the people in California are Republicans, right? Same with New York. It's amazing how they sewed up those coasts. This was a long-term game that they played, and you got to give them some credit because they managed to do it. The two coast one on each coast, and now they want to try and do it with Texas, the Democrats, that is. But I think that they're burning themselves out. I say that cautiously because they have won some special elections recently. As a matter of fact, they were yelling about seating that Democrat who won the congressional seat. I think it was Arizona. Licenses that say no name given. That's California and New York. So, but here's the problem with Cali, and I'm sure it happens in New York. I've been yelling about this forever. I talked to Senator Savino. I talked to anybody that will listen. Is that we do this honor system thing where we say, if you lie on your application to register to vote, then you could be prosecuted. Yeah, but we never prosecute anybody, right? Because when we say that elections were fraudulent or people who were voting shouldn't be voting, all of a sudden, they say, oh, it's too minuscule to have any kind of impact. So this is a problem. They couldn't get what they wanted by having them counted in the 2020 census. So they're actually doing what Biden did to let them in and to get them the support that they needed, which was making illegal stuff legal. Right? Biden expedited the claims for asylum. All of a sudden, everybody's claim was for asylum. And he just rubber stamped every single one and go off where you may. And here's your number so that we could get in touch with you so we could register you to vote. But we're not going to ever, call you back up so that you have your day in court. And, we decide whether or not you should stay in this country. They circumvented the process, right? You hear the Democrats saying all the time, the migrants don't get tax dollars. Oh, no, it would be illegal for them to get welfare or health care or any of this stuff. But they found a way around it, right? Because they're now not, quote unquote, undocumented. Biden made sure that they were all documented. So now they're eligible for all this stuff. And as a matter of fact, what the legislature in California did today by approving those billions of dollars to support the illegal migrants is they just underscored the point that that Republicans have been saying. We are not going to approve a budget bill that is going to include more money, taxpayer dollars going for migrants. We're just not going to do it. So, at any rate, but here's what they did approve money for, which is really freaking ridiculous. Gavin Newsom and the Democrats decided that because Texas had to do redistricting, it actually was mandated to do the redistricting, and they're doing that redistricting, and it looks like they're going to pick up 5 congressional seats, that Newsom is blatantly cheating and trying to go around his independent redistricting committee and redistrict and redraw lines to draw out 6 Republicans who serve in Congress. And we've heard about this. He did the whole big, I'm going to do it. If the Texas governor does it, if Texas adds seats, then I'm going to, we're going to negate that. And the fact that very few of the news stations are actually calling it out for what it is, cheating, and putting it on the Republicans instead. Anyway, they're spending a boatload of money to do this Prop 50. Aren't they outraged about all those houses burned and no permits to rebuild? Oh yeah, they're outraged, all right, 100%. North Carolina redistricting to get one more Republican seat. Well, good then. I mean, but this is not what we should be doing, right? This is not what democracy is. This is what authoritarianism is. This is not how this should be working. We have these independent commissions for a reason, and we should not be circumventing them, whether they be for the benefits of Republicans or the benefits of Democrats. We should not. And as a matter of fact, Arnold Schwarzenegger, kind of said that that what California is doing is absolutely wrong. But I just want you to see how much it's costing. Listen.
Supporters of California's redistricting efforts say the upcoming special election will be worth it to fight President Donald Trump, but opponents argue it's a waste of money. $282.6 million. That's how much the California Department of Finance projects the upcoming statewide redistricting special election will cost the state. Specifically, in less than 2 months, Californians will head to the polls to take up statewide ballot measure Prop 50, formally asking voters to either approve or reject this newly proposed congressional map aimed at helping Democrats pick up 5 U.S. House seats. This document we obtained from the Department of Finance shows how they came to the $282.6 million estimated cost figure. Breaking it down, the department projects California Elections Chief, Secretary of State Dr. Shirley Weber, and her office will need more than $31 million to administer and organize the special election, while the state will need to reimburse a combined $251.3 million to California's 58 counties for election-related costs they incur. Included $67 million for Los Angeles County, $19 million for San Diego County, more than $10.5 million for Sacramento County, $4.5 million for San Francisco County, and more than $7 million combined for Fresno and Kern counties.
This is shameful, it's outrageous, and it needs to end.
San Diego Republican Assembly member Carl DeMaio says the special election is too costly for a state already facing a $12 billion deficit. He's against Prop 50, noting it will temporarily pause through the end of the decade California's voter-approved independent redistricting commission in charge of drawing congressional maps.
This latest memo confirms that the costs are spiking and financial losses that taxpayers will have to cover because of this unnecessary special election, so that politicians can try to seize power from the voters to manipulate the lines of their districts.
So the question is, right, how have these blue states and red states, how have they managed to push out the other party? They've done it by gerrymandering, redistricting, making deals. Okay, I'll keep your seat safe if you keep my seat safe. The thing is, California's been doing it for many years, more than 100. And so is New York. So, they're crying foul after they've been doing it for all this time. And the Republicans finally caught on and went, okay, now we're in power, so we'll do what we think is right. You blatantly did it before. Now we're going to do it. All of a sudden, who the hell is Gavin Newsom to step up to the plate and say, oh, no, I'm going to change things? And, what is this going to mean? Because the Constitution, says, and I don't know what's going on with really with the Texas one, but the Constitution says that it has to be from the census, right? The congressional seats come from the census. So if you're redistricting midway in the census, then how is that even true or fair or right? And how will it stand up in court? Will it stand up in court? I don't know. I don't the way I read the Constitution, it shouldn't, because it clearly says after the census. The congressional seats are based on the census. The census is done every 10 years. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. If you guys have any ideas, please help. Miracles are everywhere. Good to have you with us. Oh, let's see if I can read the whole thing. Gerrymandering is ridiculous. They should give the map to the kindergarten students with crayons. It seems so partisan with the party in power. You're right. That's the whole thing. It's really, really partisan. It's crazy. Kids, I have to dip out. I'm not feeling well. See you next time. Oh, Deb, I hope you feel much, much better. Okay. Oh, it's my brother Albert. Okay. Hi, Al. I should have known that. What did Newsom change his underwear? I'm not quite sure what this whole, where this is all going, because again, it's in the Constitution. Every 10 years, you have a census, and then you have a redistricting based on the census. So yeah, we do. We need the professor. That's true. Hi, dear. Okay, so let's go on. All right, so now we know that $12 billion in debt. We know that the people in the Pacific Palisades are still without housing. We know that the insurance companies will no longer insure people in California because of Newsom's ridiculousness and the cost, what he was demanding of the insurance companies. And so they all dipped out and said, nope, not doing it. Okay. So we know all of these things. Now we know that it's going to cost almost $300 million for this redistricting, right? $282 million, I think was the number. And that was just, for Gavin Newsom's Folly. But then this happened. Watch.
Taxpayers will spend at least $2 million correcting voter guides that have an inaccuracy in it. Those guides went out to some registered voters about the upcoming special election for Prop 50. Sources tell KCRA3. Prop 50, you may know, will ask voters to approve new congressional maps that have been redrawn by Democrats to help Democrats in future elections. Now, the map that's on page 11 of the voter guide incorrectly labels a congressional district as District 22. It should say District 27. The Secretary of State's office said that it will send postcards out to flag and clarify the issue. The office said that it was still assessing how much that's going to cost, but sources close to all this expect it to be a little more than, again, $2 million. It's not clear if that will be in addition or included in the $282.6 million already earmarked for this special election in November.
So they screwed up and are spending now another $2 million to fix the ballots. But wait, there's more. Seriously, who gets all that money? Oh, well, you've got the printers, you've got, an election is very, very expensive. That's why, this ranked choice voting and things like that becomes very costly. And these special elections and these runoffs, the people who make the money are the printers, the postage houses, the overtime for the workers, the consultants on both sides to say, how do you win? So there's a lot of money in elections. It's really interesting. But, this isn't the first time that, I mean, this has been going on since the beginning of time, since George Washington. I believe George Washington was handing out cider to get votes when he ran for president. I believe it was Washington. I think that's what, TV ads, right? Exactly. So, elections have been money makers for lots of people. Oh, and by the way, also the congressional, some people say, well, why do all these people run for office if they know that they're not going to win, right? Like congressional seats, federal elections, president, Senate. Well, oh, by the way, you can pay yourself a salary if you're running for office. Yep, absolutely no problem with the FEC. Many people did it. AOC did it. I think she paid herself $150,000 or $160,000 for the year. That was her salary to run for office. So a lot of these, I don't know if once you're in Congress, if you could get paid, but I think you can. I think that you can take some of that money and use it for personal expenses. So, expenses related to you furthering your position as a congressional member. So would that mean gas? Would that mean your nails done, new outfits, hair? Yes. But also when you're running, it means a salary. So interesting. Okay, so that, as I said, the map screw up wasn't the only screw up. Here's another.
This is your ballot for the November 4th special election with one question. Vote yes or no on Proposition 50 to approve newly redrawn congressional districts through the 2030 elections. Doug filled out his ballot Wednesday morning.
Mark no, put it in an envelope, and as I put it in an envelope, I looked at it and thought, wow, my vote is visible right through the center hole. Whether it's a no vote or a yes vote, you should be concerned. No one should know what your vote is either way.
So he posted a video to social media.
Make sure that your vote is not visible.
Others noticed this issue too.
Heard from a few of you that you have some concerns.
On Wednesday, Sacramento County put out a response explaining why and how to protect your vote.
Not only could you simply turn it around, but in this case, we have an empty page on the other side. And so we are encouraging voters to actually fold the text inside.
Jenna Haynes is Sacramento County's public information officer for voter registration and elections. She says the holes in the envelope serve important purposes.
They not only show us whether there's something in the envelope or not in the envelope, but they guide visually impaired voters on where to sign their envelopes.
So the last part was interesting. They guide visually impaired voters onto where to sign their envelope. But how do visually impaired voters know where to fill in the bubble to vote? So this is one of those things that, we always did it that way, so let's keep doing it. I mean, what? If you're a visually impaired voter, there should be Braille ballots and Braille envelopes. If you're not, then why do we need holes in everybody's envelopes? Oh, because we always did it. I can't. It drives me insane. Unbelievable how the Dems still keep screwing up. American people suffer. You know, today Mamdani was, not to change the subject, but you know what? Let's finish this up. And look who, and I want you to listen. Look who is pushing Prop 50. You're not going to believe it.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
Returns it to the people. No. An independent redistricting commission will return it to the people. That's why it was in place, because of the gerrymandering that was going on before. So the big cheese-ter is there telling people that the Democrats are doing the right thing. It's the Republicans that are no good. And the guy who started this whole all the enmity between the two parties, the division in America, he's telling you it's okay. So that's California, ladies and gentlemen. California, where they're more concerned about illegal migrants who they brought in to make sure that they can vote in elections. They're more concerned that they stay there than the actual tax-paying people. We're $12 billion in the hole with probably the richest community in America, right? Because Hollywood's there, right? More money in Hollywood than anywhere else. And they can't help their own people. That's back on level playing field. Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. When is Obama ever going to shut up? He's not, because he's the mastermind of this evil shit. Obama is the worst. He really is. You know, he really is. We got taken for a ride. I mean, this was probably the biggest bait and switch situation because it was Hillary that was running, and then they shoved Obama in there and they managed to get him elected. It's crazy. Who think of these things like holes in ballots? Obama saying Republicans are trying to fix elections. How did our greatest country become such a childlike playground? Well, power, and debauchery. And we got away from God. And we started with the black families, right? We started, Johnson started pulling them apart, tearing them apart. Then we moved over to everybody else and started pulling apart families, making taxes so high and inflation so high that women had to go to work. This whole women's rights movement, took women out of the home. Then we started this whole industry with, oh yeah, put your kids in daycare. It's better for them. I mean, that's when it happened. All right. So today, Mamdani was the divider in chief. Yeah, Colleen, exactly. Mamdani was was on Fox, and I forget, was it? It was it Dana? I can't remember who was interviewing him because my back was to the TV. But at any rate, he kept on saying that he's going to make New York better. He's going to make New York better because it was so expensive and it was so unsafe. And, the people deserved a New York where they could walk the streets and get transportation and yada, yada, yada. And, she asked him, well, but you've been in control all this time. Oh, no, it's been Andrew Cuomo. It's been, a different type of Democrat that was in control. But the socialists are going to fix it. Martha McCullum. Yes, exactly. Martha McCullum. Mamdani is going to tax white people. Oh. And so Martha asked about the tax rate. She said, well, right now, people are paying 50% of their salary in taxes. 2%. I only need 2% more. Why wouldn't you pay 2% more? We need to make it fair. Fair for who? If you're paying 52% of your salary in taxes, then you're on the low, you're on the cheated ends at 48% take home. So you're going to work, you're going to go to work every day and know that 52 cents out of every dollar goes to the government and you get to keep 48, maybe. What? Who thinks that this is going to happen? It's unsafe because they no longer respect police, and Dems are the reason. Oh, he tap danced. I strongly urge you, I'm sure Fox put it up. You got to listen to this. He refused to condemn Hamas. And plenty of Jewish people are going to vote for him. You bet your ass they are. I mean, it's insane. It's almost like as long as there's a D, I'm good. Which is another reason why. Now, tomorrow's the debate between the three of them. Curtis is a good debater, but I am seeing all the polls, and Cuomo, he's starting to pick up traction from Mamdani now, and people see that he's starting to move. And I think people who are undecided are more likely to vote now, and they're starting to reveal themselves. So I don't know, what's going to happen tomorrow. I think that we'll know more after the debate. But I cannot see how a three-person race does not result in Mamdani winning. I just can't. He was so slippery, I had to shower after watching him. Yeah, Angela. It was weird. It was weird. And he that fake smile and all those rings on his fingers. He's just so vapid. He is, I mean, that expression, an empty suit, that's what it felt like. He didn't have a solid answer for anything. And Martha kept on going back to him to try and draw out an answer. And, she wasn't getting it. He was just that slippery. But with that face, I mean, he's a handsome guy and he's well groomed. I mean, and that works sometimes, right? John Kennedy with Nixon, that people say that's why he won. My heart tells me Cuomo wins. Mamdani is too fake. I hope you're right. Listen, I don't want Cuomo either because there's something to it that, he started this shit. But now I think that he's going to have to answer for a lot of the things he did before, and he'll correct things. But I want Cuomo for one reason, because he will go after Hochul and Tish James and make their lives a living hell. And he's going to definitely be better. I would say that Cuomo is going to be more like a Bloomberg as mayor. But it might tilt a little bit more conservative, like his father did back in the day. Like Newsom never answers. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, went over again. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow night, we're going to have some more deep dives. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to dive into. There are hearings all over Capitol Hill about so many things that we talk about here. But, look early in the morning. I'll tag you people and we'll decide what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But up until then, thank you for joining me tonight. Thanks for being part of this conversation. I love you guys. Another Kamala, only a man this time. Oh, you're absolutely right, Kevin. Absolutely right. All right. Good night. Love you all. Let's talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.